This is the Field of 68. I'm Vince Wolfram.
I'm Jojo Cavanagh in Auburn, Alabama. And this
is Straight Out the Jungle. Welcome back to Straight Out the Jungle. My name is Vince Wolfram.
And I'm Jojo Cavanagh.
A big win for Auburn last night over University of Northern Alabama, 102-69. First game we've hit 100 this year, though.
Yeah, it was a 33-point win, season high for Auburn. The last time we hit 100 was March of last year against Mizzou. So it took a little bit, but we got it.
Yeah, we're so back in the 100 win column. I know the fans in Neville last night. I mean, the fans, they really did show up. It felt like it was SEC time in last night with Neville Arena. I think the Houston win really hyped up basketball season and is getting the students to the game. Don't you think?
Oh, 100%. And I think it helps that we have the longest active home non-conference streak in the country with 57. And we are 10 games in front of Drake, who was second with 47, Baylor in third with 40, and then Texas Tech and Texas both have 33. But we are 10 in front of Drake. So we have 57 home non-conference wins in a row. Longest.
That's impressive. Yeah, that is certainly impressive. And it's led by one guy who I know you're going to talk about, who has just been leading the charge for Auburn all year, but especially last night.
Oh, yeah. So I think I've talked about last week. I love how each game is a different player. And there's been one player, though, however, that's been consistent, and that is Johni Broome. But he hasn't really been like the star per se and have his own game. Well, the North Alabama game was the Johni Broome game. 30 points, 17 rebounds. 30 points is he tied his career best at Auburn. He hit 30 against Virginia Tech last year. He was only 2 away from his career best. He hit 32 against Murray State when he was at Morehead State, but 30 points from the All-American. I mean, Bruce said, what else can you expect from your All-American? He played like he was, and he is the most talented person on the floor. But he didn't even have a shot until 12 minutes into the game. So you were just wondering when he was going to get going, and when he got going, he got going. Going into halftime, he had 13 of Auburn's 18 points. So North Alabama got that 1-point lead, and I think Bruce Pearl and the team said, all right, we just need to get Johni Broome the ball. None of these players can really go up against this All-American, and they were right. To have 30 points, and then going into halftime, he provided that spark. He at halftime he had 17, and then just kept it going in the second half. Was just, what more can you ask for? 24 points in the paint from him. Auburn had 50 in total, but 24 of those were Johni Broome.
It was like giving coins to a vending machine because you knew you were going to get something out of it, especially in that first half, like you said, when he wasn't really in his Johni Broome groove yet, but he got there. Once once again, they sort of poked the bear. They got the game back to close. I think North Alabama led for about 31 or 37 seconds in the game in its entirety. And that 37 seconds was, it was so alarming for Johni that he knew he just had to put ball in basket. And he did fantastic with it. But I think it was even more of a complete performance because of what he did on defense. A lot of people won't talk about this because his game was so dominant. He was flexing the 30 ball after the game, but he still had, like you said, 17 rebounds, 14 of them defensive rebounds. When you get defensive rebounds like that, your offense starts sooner. And that was something that really, really helped Auburn last night. I mean, that's a reason they scored 100 points, right? They put enough offense in the game to get in triple digits. But 14 defensive rebounds, that's huge. We love to see that from Johni. And the defensive rebound wealth was spread too. So for him to have 14, that was really big. Going along with 3 blocks too. That's something we've seen Johni improve on in his time at Auburn. At the beginning, he was more of a flat-footed big man. He would contest and try to block shots at the rim, but he wasn't quite getting there. But now he's sort of getting into that groove. We've seen him block shots. Last night he had 3, so it was a big defensive performance from Johni Broome. And now from one big to the other, you've got more on big number 44. That rhymed. That was kind of
We talked about Dylan Cardwell last week. We've talked about him each week saying he's made an impact on this game. It's just not showing up on the box score. Well, last night, it finally showed up on the box score. I was hoping this would happen. I said it last week. It finally happened. He tied his career best. He had 12 points, and you just felt his impact. Johni Broome obviously had a massive impact, but when Dylan Cardwell was on the court too, you felt it. Every time he got the ball, whether it was a dunk, that alley-oop at the end that just saw the bench go absolutely crazy. Presley Patterson scores, CJ Williams scores, which Already had the bench going crazy.
Let's go, press.
And then that alley-oop from Dylan Cardwell, just the jungle was electrified. So the fact that it finally showed up for Dylan Cardwell on the box score, tying his career best of 12 points, just that's what me and you both wanted. And we saw it last night against North Alabama.
Yeah, you know when you see this from Dylan?
Yep. Or he goes like this, jungle.
That's his go-to. And I mean, when he hits that, you know it's going to be a good day for the big fella. And another guy who, like you said, you talked about Dylan in the last episode. My prediction for this game to have a big one was Chad Baker-Mazara. And last game, we all saw the video of him getting his mid-game snack. That was pretty awesome.
Very.
Auburn fans are smart, though. They brought snacks to the game last night. Check this out. A couple of fans with fries ready for Chad Baker-Mazara, calling his name, Chad, look at him. They've got fries for him. I thought that was too funny to not bring up. But Chad Baker-Mazara had a fantastic game. And I think we've seen it a couple of times in the game so far. He has pockets in the game where he just takes over. And yesterday, it was the very beginning. He had the first 6 points of the game, the 2 back-to-back threes to kick it off for the Tigers. But Chad Baker-Mazara, in those times, he's so dominant. And you can see he's got the flow going. He starts to dribble with the left. He starts to go. Yesterday, he hit those 2 threes. He had 8 points in the first half, finished with 12. But I think those sections where Chad Baker-Mazara starts to get his flow going and starts to get in motion, those are dangerous times for an Auburn offense because a lot of the times he's not as active when he's not in those spurts. Like he's sometimes a little distant when he's not scoring the ball. So when they can get him in that motion and get him scoring the ball, slashing to the basket, slashing and stepping back for threes, that's when Chad Baker-Mazara is at his best. And we saw a little bit of that last night.
Yeah, Chad Baker-Mazara is the type of player when he gets in his groove or when he gets that feeling, he is unstoppable. And against Vermont, we said he had the first 5 points spark to this team. Against North Alabama, North Alabama was in it in the first half. So I think Auburn shot 58% in the first half, but then in the second half, we moved to 67%. But in that first half, North Alabama was leading. It was the first time Auburn was not leading since the Houston game. And you just saw Chad Baker-Mazara provide that spark again to start us off. And then throughout that game, you just see the little sparks of him and he gets that energy. He gets that Chad Baker-Mazara craziness. He feeds off the jungle. He feeds off his teammates. And I think we saw that last night.
That Dominican flow, baby.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up Chaney Johnson. So last night we saw he didn't really have a double-digit game. He still had 8 points, so still a great game all around. 8 points, 5 rebounds. But there was a stat that was brought up on the broadcast last night that really caught my attention. I've talked about him the past few weeks. I keep talking about Chaney Johnson, so obviously I bring him up again. But last season, he had 3 games in double digits. This season, he already has 3. He had 13 against Vermont, 11 against Houston, and 18 against Kent State. So just talk about improvement is you are already tied with your season total of last year of games in double digits. I mean, I don't know how you can improve better than that. Hopefully the Maui Invitational, he'll go for more double digits and beat last year's, but it was something that I thought was really cool and had to bring up, obviously, on the pod.
Yeah, no, I thought it was interesting too. To see his confidence grow has been fantastic. And I know it's something Auburn fans, Alabama residents, they wanted to see it because he's an Alabama kid. So to see him play well, to see him get in the groove, to see for these Alabama residents, to see him play the way he did growing up, I think is really, really cool. And shout out to Jane because one, I think the shoes he was wearing yesterday, the Steph Currys, he had the green and gold Steph Currys. I thought they were fire. It was a great pickup from the end of the rainbow. He got lucky with those.
You brought up shoes.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm loving the sneaker game. Green with Auburn colors, something different. So props to Chaney on that. Plus, he had a sweet windmill dunk. Let's check it out.
Oh, yeah.
That was sweet, but it does get sweeter. Last night, Denver Jones, I think, was a key piece to this game because one, the defense, two, the offense. I'll start with the defense. The best player for North Alabama, Jakari Lane, last night, he averages 19 and a half and above points per game. Denver Jones held him to 16. That's under his average. Granted, 16 points, that is a lot. But when you score 100, you're going to score a lot of points. I thought Denver Jones was fantastic on defense. He had 2 steals on the night too. So he was making his impact in the box score and on the court. Just constant pressure. That full court press that Auburn has been running in these first couple games has been awfully effective. And Denver has spearheaded the attack there. And I think it really got to him last night. There was a handful of turnovers in that press that led to Auburn points. And then to offense, I mean, Denver did it all. He was shooting threes, had 13 points, 9 assists. That's very impressive for a guy who played the 2 guard primarily most of last year. To get in and dish the ball out like he did yesterday, that was fantastic. Second on the team in scoring, obviously behind Johni. I thought he was fantastic. And then to another guard that I think is in an interesting spot, JP Pegues. He got in and scored last night. He was 1 for 3 from the field, 3 rebounds and an assist, but he only played 15 minutes. And that was I guess caught me off guard a little bit because I think Bruce wants to play him, but he's given him the time to sort of mold and figure his way out. So it was interesting to see JP's input last night, and I'm hoping it improves because I thought while he was in the game, he played pretty well. Defensively, I think he has some loops, but I think he can figure that out as the season goes on. And I think the Maui Invitational will be a really, really good test for him.
Yeah, I was glad to see him get on the board last night with that 3-point shot. So that was good. But I want to go back to Denver. He talked to the media last night. He was talking about how they stopped Ja'Carri Lane. He had 14 points in the first half. That was when North Alabama was keeping it close. He was the one to watch. He just kept making shots. And then in the second half, it was like, where is Ja'Carri Lane? He had points. And that is because of Denver Jones. So Denver Jones not only was the team's second leading scorer last night, on defense, kept Ja'Carri Lane to below, like you said, his season average this year. And then on offense had 9 assists. But speaking of assists, Auburn in total had 25 assists. Denver had 9 of those. Miles Kelly and Todd Pettiford both had 3 each. So it was kind of coming from all around. But 25 assists is massive. Yes, it was an 100-point game, but just seeing like the players work with each other to get those points on the board is really cool.
Yeah, and I know something that came up with the whole flight to Houston thing was that this team wasn't really a team. It was a bunch of individuals that were just trying to get their own, which I think 25 assists proves that is far from the truth. Because if you pass the ball that much and you score that much, it means you're probably getting to gel to be a pretty good team. So I thought that was very impressive.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And then one other thing I forgot to say was that last night, Denver Jones committed his first foul in 68 minutes of play.
That's impressive, especially based off how much we foul.
Yeah, no, see, Auburn does foul a lot. And then to have Denver Jones, who Bruce Pearl said last week is the best defender on the team, commit his first foul in over an hour of play I had to write that one down because I was like, did I hear that right? And yeah, I heard that right.
Yeah, dudes can't even do that in pickup, much less high Division I Power 5 basketball. So Denver, shout out to you. I wanted to touch on something too. Last night, or I guess so far this season, we've seen tons of productivity from the bench. We've talked about it. It's the deepest team that Bruce Pearl has had in years. Last night, 23 of the 102 points came from the bench. That's 22.5% of Auburn's points came from the bench. By far the lowest this season. I mean, all the starters scored in double figures. Miles Kelly had 12. Denver Jones had 13. Chad had 12. Dylan Cardwell had 12. Johni, obviously, big 30. All those players getting in on the box score, putting the ball in the basket is huge. And when those bench players come in, it's not that they can't score because we know they can, but it adds some relief. It adds some differentiation in there, which is a great thing. But I thought those starters scoring, that was big. They got in there and they did their thing. They shot 61%, almost 62% too. And when you shoot that well, you score the basketball like they did last night, that is a winning recipe. And I hope that continues to be true moving forward. Just keep shooting the rock like you have. As long as you can rely on your starters, Auburn will be fine.
Yeah, and I think that's something Auburn is obviously Bruce Pearl is known for always playing his guys all over from starters to the bench. And obviously Auburn fans love to see when, the bench, when Chaney Johnson goes off. But I think sometimes it is just fun to see your starters and have your confidence in your starters. Each of them go in double digits. Like, I don't remember the last time that happened for Auburn. So just to see that is awesome. Like, Bruce always plays his bench, and we've seen that throughout the years. And to have last night have all your starters just really show why they are the starters on the team.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you look at the last couple of years, you look at especially guards. I think guards is what he subs in the most. Like you look at the Zep Jasper, Katie Johnson, Wendell Green. It didn't matter who started. Somebody was getting subbed in at the 19-minute mark in the first half. Like that's just how it was. And Bruce does that a lot. So you're totally right on that. Seeing the starters get in there, score the basketball at will, build that confidence, not only individually, but together as a unit is very, very big.
Yeah. There's something else I wanted to bring up. It is a little bit on the negative side, but I feel like we do have to touch on it. It is the free throw line. So
Yeah.
Auburn last night was 7 for 12. So we missed 5 of those. Johni missed 2, Chad missed 1, Chaney missed 1, and Miles missed 1. But Johni Broome is shooting 42% from the 3. I mean, not from the 3. Johni Broome is
From the
shooting
three.
42% from the free throw line. So I think that is something we need to touch on because I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, that hopefully we don't really need to come back and worry about this. Obviously, last night he had a 30-point game. We won by 33 points, hit 100 points. But it is something to consider that when we are going to the Maui Invitational, when we're playing Duke, that if it's a 2-point, 3-point game, we can't miss 5 free throws and we can't have our All-American shoot and miss 2 free throws, shooting 42% from the free throw line.
Yeah, I mean, even guys like Miles, like in a close game like we'll have against Ohio State, potentially North Carolina or UConn, teams like that, can't afford to miss 1 free throw, much less, however, 5 that we missed last night. Like Miles Kelly, you're a shooter. Like put the ball in the basket. I know it's just 1 free throw, but 1 free throw can make the difference. And Johni, I think you're spot on. He has to come in clutch with those because there will be times, mark my words, there will be times this season where we are in close games. SEC non-conference doesn't matter. Where Johni gets the ball because he is our best player, put him in on the post. He's going to not be able to get a shot up, but we'll have to go to the line and win the game for Auburn. And we have to see that sort of trend in the right direction here. Like we haven't seen it much. He shot well against Houston, but we don't know if that's just luck. Like we really don't. We're only a couple of games into this season. So to see him shoot well from the line is something that I hope that we can see as the season moves on.
Yeah, and but on the positive side, Dylan Cardwell shooting 60% from the free throw line.
We love that.
Improvement from 44.
We really do love that. Shoot, what were you going to say before? Or you already did it, Chaney, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. I think you're doing the flight thing now.
Okay. Yeah. No, we definitely love to see Dylan Cardwell make it from the line. So I know we've gotten some comments about it. We addressed it last episode. Let's take an update from the planes train. How about that?
Really I just had to say.
I really did. I came up with it pre-show. I thought it was awesome.
Really got excited about it.
Yeah, come on. This is the planes train. The Jaheim Hudson, Ja'Kai Howard situation. Last night, they were actually in uniform, suiting up, shoes were laced. They were playing in warmups. They were getting after it, shooting threes, doing their normal warm-up. But in the game, we actually did not see them check in. They did not get any playing time. So maybe Bruce is holding off until the Maui Invitational. That's what I thought. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. I think we both kind of thought that there was no reason for them to play against Kent State and North Alabama while also giving them a reasonable suspension for whatever happens. Still, no one knows. So I do think that we held off. Hopefully, we will see them play in the Maui Invitational, but we won't know until the team leaves and they play on Monday night.
Yeah, from the plane train to Maui. Fasten your seatbelts and return your tray tables to their upright positions. Auburn basketball is headed to Maui on Thursday to play a game on Monday, November 25th versus Iowa State on ESPNU, 8 o'clock tip Central Time, 4 p.m. Hawaii time if you're lucky enough to get out there. We wish we could, but those will be fantastic games. I know it's a in-season tournament that we've been looking forward to since our schedule got released. A lot of good games on there.
Yeah, no, number 4 Auburn, number 5 Iowa State. And then we play either the winner or loser, depending if we win or lose, of North Carolina and Dayton with the possibility of going against and playing UConn. So just the teams in this invitational it's going to hopefully be a fun invitational for Auburn.
Yeah, hopefully we can have some tournament luck and win some games. Hopefully try to win some Maui Invitational championship. That would be nice. Nice thing to put on the resume.
So
yeah,
Thanksgiving week we won our classic last year, so competition was a little bit different, but
keep playing the way we're playing and I think we'll be in pretty good shape. But we're gonna have a Maui Invitational special later this week. We're gonna talk to Denver Jones this week, so make sure to stay in tune with everything straight out the jungle. A great win for Auburn last night, 102-69 over North Alabama with the Maui Invitational on the horizon. Jojo, you got anything else?
Nope, just like, comment, subscribe. We will have all of our information linked in this video below. But this has been Straight Out the Jungle. I'm Jojo Cavanagh.
And I'm Vince Wolfram, War Eagle.